Hi, and welcome to Victor, Colorado. We went to a few places before we stopped here, and Roger just found immediately what he wanted to paint. I'll show you around a little too. Victor lies southwest of Colorado Springs at an altitude of 10,000 feet with a population of only 200 to 400 people, depending on the season. This authentic 1890s mining town is considered part of the Cripple Creek Mining District. In 1891, Winfield Scott Stratton, a self-taught prospector, knew the special characteristics of the rock in this area and realized he had discovered a wealth of gold, making the Cripple Creek District the leading gold-producing area in the state. Now, the procedure for lifting the gold out of the ground begins up on the hill at the head frame, which is the structure that sits right above the mine shaft. And that's what Roger wants to capture as he paints and oils today. So we'll join him up there.
And this is the head frame, probably the most famous mine in Colorado, called the Independence Mine. It was built in 1891, discovered in July 4th. That's why it's called Independence Mine. This is where the mine shaft is. This is where all the ore is brought out of the ground, where all the men are brought down into the mine. There were 120 men that worked deep down below in this mine. This particular mine went down 1,430 feet. Some mines around here go down almost a mile. These type of mines aren't used anymore. They do surface mining now, and that you can see that along the highway. Basically what they do in surface mining is they start to dig a hole in the ground, and they just really dig out a huge hole. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and they just dig away the whole mountain, and all that rock and ore, gold ore that they pull up from this huge pit just gets crushed. They extract the gold from the iron ore, and all that iron ore scrap just gets deposited sort of in a big circle around the mountain. So what's left now in the surface mining is a huge hole in the mountain. It's just almost like the mountain in reverse, where they just scooped up the entire mountain, placed all the scrap on the side. But back then, these were mines, and they drilled these deep mine shafts down into the earth. And this tower here, this is called a head frame, and to the right here, there was a steam engine, and that's what powered the cable. It was a flat cable. Instead of using round wire cables, or wire rope as they called it, they used flat cables back then. They seemed to be a little more efficient. So the steam engine, almost like a fishing line. You can think of the fishing line back in this right-hand bottom part, and the cable would go up over that wheel in the top, and it would raise and lower the ore and the men up and down into the shaft. And this shaft that went down 1,430 feet, in between, in different layers, mine shafts went out laterally on the side, horizontally. So there were a number of different layers down in that shaft, and I've heard there are over 3,000 miles of mine shafts in this area. So that's what I'm painting today, this marvelous head frame. There aren't any of these really left in existence that are working right now, but this is one of the most famous ones in all of Colorado. And today I've got a piece of masonite board here. I've covered it with burnt sienna, acrylic burnt sienna on the back of this. So this is totally dry here. I'm using oil paints today, and for my palette I've got titanium white, ultramarine blue, cerulean blue, alizarin crimson, cadmium red, Indian yellow, cadmium yellow, and I put a little bit of burnt sienna in here too, because we've got a lot of that burnt sienna color. I just find this shape very interesting. It's very powerful. It's not unlike seeing the space shuttle in Cape Canaveral on the launch pad. I mean, this was the Cape Canaveral of its day, because this was the highest tech thing going for its day. So it really resembles that kind of strength and power. And I'm just kind of attracted to it.